It would have been nice if I had more videos filmed in Australia, but unfortunately, I didn't. If I had constantly documented my experiences since Australia, I know that sounds really great, but I regret that I didn't. Those memories stay vivid and I'll never forget them. The upcoming clips are similar to other videos that I made. They are filmed recently, they are not filmed in Australia. Australia was mentioned a few times in my videos, and because of my weird mixed accent, probably you guys think that I spent a long time in Australia, but that's not true. I had to rush back to Korea after a few months of Sydney because of COVID. Yeah, even though it was a short time, I believe my time in Australia was really valuable and life-changing experience. So I'll do my best to share my review. Was it almost 3 years ago that I was in Australia? I guess so, because that was like COVID. Australia is so beautiful. I miss Australia so much. I thought I was someone who wasn't affected by the weather, but experiencing it firsthand was different. Just a perfect warm temperature made me feel brighter. Having a firm belief that the weather will be good again rid of a lot of stress. I felt like I was getting healthier. It might have been the healthiest time of my life. It must have been like really tough because I went through a lot physically and mentally. But this is so weird. I barely remember the difficult times. I don't understand how I could have been so happy at the time. The first thing that I did every morning was check my bank account. My income wasn't stable and the money was keep constantly going out. There were rent, groceries, and even transportation cost. I know it feels like it's normal and it's not a lot, but at that time for me, yes, it was a lot because I didn't have proper income. I think I felt anxious most of days. It wasn't difficult to find a job. I was proactive in finding work, so there were several opportunities that I've got. But as you fell through my videos, I'm a person not doing things if they don't fit my standards, so I didn't take them if I didn't like them. Of course, if I were in serious poverty, I would have endured and kept the job, but maybe it was fine with a little struggle. Still, I think that was a good decision, although I received some criticism for not being constant. But I was able to find a good job in the end because I constantly challenged myself without settling. If I give some tips based on my hard time in Australia, don't just hastily take a job because it's urgent. Don't just take advantage of what others think is good. Pursue what you truly enjoy doing. That's how you can learn a lot and be happy. I was living with 4 roommates. It was a total of 5, including myself. So there were 3 beds in one room, which was my room. And if one person got up, other 2 people should sit down on the bed because we need to make some space for the person to move around. And yeah, it was not small, but it was not spacious enough. And there was a couple living next door. Yeah, that was a place, sharing the kitchen and the living room area, all together. It was cramped. You can imagine. Actually, I thought everyone was living like that. It's not common to share a room with someone else in Canada. I think it's more common in Australia to live all together in the same room. Looking back now, I'm someone who values my own time very much, but I kept pretending it was okay not to have it. So did I go out more often? Yes, I guess. It helped me a lot to become more outgoing. I was really bad at English. That was not only that I couldn't complete the sentences, but also I didn't have enough space in my brain to change the tenses. So I kept speaking in the present tense whenever I talk, which led to misunderstandings. Korean classes saved me. I spent 3 hours preparing with a Google Translator for a 1-hour class. And I memorized all the lines that I made for the lesson I prepared. Thanks to that, I was able to study English a lot. But more than anything, I made friends. I met Australians every week for the lesson, had meals together and went around to various places, which helped me a lot understand Australian culture better. And I also gained some confidence in myself. I listened to Yerin Beck, her album a lot when I was in Australia. I think the title of the album was The Letter That I Sent You. Yeah, and still whenever I listen to it, I think of Australia, and sometimes it brings out a feeling of excitement and a bit of loneliness. I think there's nothing as good as a song to remember something. I always had a longing to live abroad, and just fulfilling that was enough to make me happy. If I had to give an overall review, I would like to give 5 stars out of 5. They were all beautiful memories, even though I had some inconvenience and the sadness. The good points of doing working holiday in Australia, you can earn money very well. You can make decent money. I mean, if you spend a lot, then it depends, but I think I saved like a decent amount of money because the minimum wage there is like $23 right now, I think. And if you work on weekends, then you can make more. And people are like chill. It's really relaxing. It might be frustrating for a Korean perspective, but I liked it. Australians seem like they have high level of satisfaction of life. Maybe that's why they can be more like chill and, the vibe they have. But that really helped because it was less stressful when working. Bad points about Australia. I mean, that's not a bad one, but I don't know. There are not many because I didn't live there for a long time, like long enough to judge something. Maybe if I need to pick one compared to Canada right now, I felt a bit more alienate as a foreigner. It's like Australia had less diverse for choosing jobs, I would say, like to try. Yeah. And maybe like huge bugs, like scary spiders and mosquitoes. I don't know. Yeah, that's it. Working holiday evokes many emotions. Not just because it was Australia, working holiday gives me the different views of my life. It's different from traveling. You don't just look around for a moment, you have to live like them. But it doesn't feel like home either. I had to break many things that I knew. I became independent for the first time in Australia. I cried on the plane flying to Australia. Of course, there was certainly homesickness for Korea and a sadness of distancing myself from my people, but mostly there were also heavy times that I started feeling too short as an adult, and also fear inside the airplane flying carelessly into the sky with nothing to hold on to, as many things that had surrounded me were being cast away. I've done all the independent practices I could in a foreign country. While keeping my economic freedom, physical strength, and my own dreams within the boundaries of what I wanted and needed to do, I made it through today. For making better tomorrow. I hope you try difficult and fearful experiences as soon as possible. There's more to learn in fear than you think.